Hello and welcome to yoga class. I am Michelle and I'm going to be your teacher for today. I would like you to come into a seated position, okay, on your mats. Place a block under your bottom. It's a really nice adjustment just to raise up your hips, and it's such a fantastic hip opener. And it allows your spine to lengthen, which is really the intention of the pose. I'd like you to come and close your eyes, please. From here, I would like you to ground down, which is the theme of our class today. We're going to be grounding down, appreciating the earth that we walk upon. Okay? We're going to be progressing our class through a number of different postures, which are going to be warming up the body and getting you ready for our peak posture, which is going to be shoulder stand. Don't worry, I will get you there, okay? And there's plenty of variations and modifications that we can take along the way, so it is accessible to all. Wonderful. Okay, so hands come to your knees, sitting up straight, and allow those hips just to fall open. We're going to close off the eyes if we haven't done so already. I know at this time of year lots of people suffer from hay fever, so we're going to just take some easy, equal breathing here, just to connect our breath with our practice today. So I'd like you to take an inhale. You're going to inhale fully, sitting up straight. Really enjoy that full breath. And exhale. Okay, we can take one more of those just at your normal rhythm. And then I'd like to count you in. So we're going to inhale for 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale 3, 2, 1. Now just allow your breath to return to its normal rhythm. Keeping the eyes closed, I'd like you to consider setting an intention for today's practice. For me, I'm going to set an intention for myself to enjoy the journey as opposed to the destination. For me, I'm going to enjoy the movements between the postures and appreciate my body doing what it can do rather than focusing on what it can't do. I will be non-judging and appreciative. Feel free to have my intention or set your own. It's up to you. And on our next inhale, I'd like you to flutter open the eyelids, smile, and we'll begin our practice. Fantastic. Okay, from here, remove your prop if you've been using one. I'd like you to come to a tabletop position on your mat. So, hands are beneath your shoulders, knees are beneath your hips. And we're going to work our breath with our movement here. So as we take an inhale, we move our pelvis, we tilt our pelvis. We take an inhale and we drop our tummy and our gaze comes up. Then as we exhale, we tilt from the pelvis, rounding through the back, and gaze comes towards our navel. Really pushing away that mat, really grounding down. We inhale, pelvis tilts, drop the tummy, push away the mat, gaze comes up. And as we exhale, tilting from the pelvis, pushing away the earth, and rounding through the spine. Gaze comes to navel. I want you to work with your breath. So as we inhale, we drop our tummies, and as we exhale, we round our backs. We're going to do 3 matching our own rhythm. And then when you're ready, we're going to return to a neutral spine. Okay, now we've got a couple of poses for you to return to today if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or it's just not comfortable for you and you just need a little rest. So we're going to come into child's pose. There's a couple of variations that you can take here. So as we sit our bottoms back onto our heels, you can either keep your knees together, alternatively go for a wide leg child's pose, toes together, sitting back deeply onto your heels and stretch those arms forward. This is a really, really nice pose. Alternatively, you can, as your knees are together, take your head to the mat and hands come towards feet, palms up. Now this is a really nice calming pose for you, okay? So if you feel a bit overwhelmed throughout the class, this is the pose that you would go to. Okay, from here we're going to come up to our tabletop position again. Now, I really like to engage the core, and I kind of identify the core at the beginning of the class just because it means that we can keep referring back to it throughout. So we're going to ground down through our hands, okay? Pushing down through the knuckles of our fingers. Our knees are underneath our hips. And then on an inhale, I'd like you to send your right leg away. Toes point towards the mat, and our heels are like pushing out. So we're pushing against the wall behind us. Okay? You can stay here if you want. Alternatively, if you like a challenge, we're going to lift up our left arm. It's going to come straight out of that shoulder joint, and you're going to stretch it away. So as you stretch forward and your arm lengthens, you're going to be stretching back, and your leg is lengthening too. Engage that core. Feel that leg lifting as you engage the glute, and we're going to bring it back to tabletop. Really, really nice. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So let's reset our positions, make sure that we're in the right place. And as we inhale, we're going to engage our core. We shoot our left leg away, toes point to the floor, heel pressing the back of the room, right hand comes forward if we did that. On the other side, we want to balance our postures today. And gaze comes down, keeping our neck long. Really nice. Okay, let's reconnect. We're going to go back to our tabletop position. Now I'd like us to go into puppy pose now. So this is a fabulous position. We're going to take some really, really long movements with our hands. And as we keep our hips above our knees, we're going to just send our chest towards the mat. We're going to tuck our forehead towards the mat too. And we're going to really, really think about sending our armpits to the mat, getting a lovely stretch through the upper body. Feel those shoulders opening up and take a moment here. Okay, let's spider up the fingers and walk them back. We're going into our downward facing dog. Now this is a really important posture for you, so if you don't want to take child's pose but we're mid-flow, then feel free to go into downward facing dog. As this is the first one of our class today, we're not going to go full throttle. What we're going to do is take our time in getting our posture right so that we can return to it again and again. So we're going to tuck under the toes, engaging that core, really important. We're going to lift up our knees just a little bit off the mat, okay? We're going to aim to send our chest to our knees, and then we're going to send our sit bones to the sky. Now we're keeping our spine long. That is the intention of our pose here, lengthening that spine. So if you start to feel, as you drop your heels down, your spine rounding, then don't. Keep that bend in your knees. Fantastic. Now we're grounding down. We're pushing away the mat with our hands. Feel those connections, the knuckles of your hands pushing down. And if you're ready to do so, you can straighten up your legs, providing it doesn't round your spine, and take a couple of pedals of your feet here, really enjoying that hamstring and calf stretch. Great. Okay, from here, we are going to step or jump our feet to the gates of our hands. Slowly, we're going to get ourselves to standing. So as we are falling over our legs, we're going to just stand up very, very slowly, stacking vertebrae upon vertebrae as we come to standing. Keep a nice small bend, a micro bend into your knees, okay? Just so it feels a little bit more comfortable as you come to standing. And when we get there, our toes come together, a small gap at the back of our heels. We're going to really feel the sensation of grounding down. So lift up the toes, spread them lovely and wide, and then place them down one by one by one. This is your grounding, okay? We're going to engage those legs. We're going to lift up the kneecaps. We're going to tuck under our tailbone slightly. We are going to engage navel to spine. Rolling our shoulder blades back and down. Palms face forward. Gaze is forwards too. And we're going to take a moment in mountain pose just to breathe, just to smile, just to appreciate our body's movements. And with an inhale, our arms come up. And then we swan dive forward. So hinging from the waist, we're going to go down into a forward fold. Now we're heading towards the floor. We don't necessarily need to get there. If you're worried about stability, widen your stance slightly. Take a small bend into your knees if that's more comfortable for you. This is your practice, this is your choice. Okay? So we're at a forward fold. We're going to take a half lift. Hands come to shins and our spine is lengthening. Our gaze is coming to the front of our mat, keeping our neck lovely and long. Fantastic. Okay, from here, we're going to take hands to mat. Left foot is going to take a large step backwards. And we're going to drop that back knee. Untuck the toes. And we're going to make sure that our knee is over our front ankle. I'd like you to come out of the pose, engage the core, engage those glutes, give them a squeeze, feel them activate, and then we're going to sink our hips towards the mat. When we're ready, our hands come up. We're going to take an inhale here as we lift out of our waist. Our hips are still sinking to the floor. We're going to turn our pinky fingers in, look towards the sky, and smile. Brilliant. Hands come to the front of our mat. Tuck the back toes. Your right leg is going to meet with your left in plank position. From here in plank, I'm looking to make sure our heels are pushing back, our kneecaps are pushing up, our glutes are engaged, our core is engaged, and our shoulders are beneath our wrists. As we inhale, we move our weight forward. As we exhale, feel free to drop the knees here if you want to. Alternatively, you can come through Chaturanga, squeeze those elbows into the body. Squeeze as we lower, untuck the toes, squeeze the glutes to protect the back. As we come up, we shine the heart forward into Cobra position. Feel that lovely length down the front body, protecting that back by squeezing those glutes together, and then lower back down. Tuck under the toes and push. So as we inhale, we push the floor away, and we go back to downward facing dog. Well, we've been here before, so you're going to get to where you did before. So if that was with bent knees, fantastic, keeping that length through the spine. We're looking to spiral our arms so that the eyes of our elbows are looking at one another, lengthening through that spine, and then we are pedaling through the feet and enjoying the stretch down our backs of our legs and our calves. Brilliant. From here, our left leg comes through the gate of our hands. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes. Checking our knees over our front ankle, we're going to lift out of the pose. Again, really squeezing those glutes, activating our core. We're going to sink our hips towards the floor. And as we are inhaling, arms come up, pinky fingers roll in towards one another. Imagine lengthening coming out of the waist as we're dropping our hips further to the floor. And enjoy this wonderful stretch of our hip joint. Okay, hands come to the mat. We are going to send our left leg back and we are going into downward facing dog. So we're going to push the mat away. We're aiming to lengthen that spine. We've been here before. You know what feels good for your body. All right. We're heading to plank pose now. So we're going to inhale, weight comes over, shoulders over wrists, and pushing through the heels, engage the core. We are going to drop the knees if we're looking for a variation. I think it's a good idea to drop our knees because we're in a beginner's class. I'll give you a challenge if you want one. We are going to pivot, so we're untucking the toe, we're going to pivot our toes to the right hand side. Right knee stays down, left arm comes up, left leg goes long, and we're lifting up those hips, we're lifting them towards the ceiling, pushing down through the outside edge of our top leg, and we're lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. Gaze to your hand if you feel comfortable to do so, your top hand. If not, it's fine, maintain your gaze forward. If you're looking for an additional challenge, your right leg can join your left leg and keep them stacked. Up to you. Okay, left hand comes down and we revert back to our plank pose again. Remember, heels pushing back, kneecaps pushing up, engage the core. We're going to go to the other side now. So as our left knee drops, our right foot faces the back wall. We lift ourselves up, hand comes towards the ceiling, and we are lifting our hips. Imagine pushing. So you're grounded down, but you're pushing up. And we look towards our hand. Now remember, if you took a challenge on the other side, we want to stay balanced. So if it's okay with you, we could bring our left leg to join our right leg inside plank pose. This is great to build stability, great for balance, great for strength. Okay, come back to plank pose. So, and when you're ready, let's test our balance here. If you are, you can either hop, step, jump, up to you. We're going to come through to staff pose. So, we want to be seated on our mat, our legs long and our spine long too. Now it is up to you. Providing we've got a straight, a long spine, that's what we're after. That's the intention of our pose. Keep a small bend into the knees if that's more comfortable for you, okay? From here, hands come to our bottom, or to the side of our hips. We're going to come up onto our tiptoes, okay? We're going to walk them in. We're going to engage the core, and as we engage the core, we're going to lift our legs or shins so they become parallel to the mat. All right? Keep your hands firmly where they are to begin with. So on an inhale, we lift up, grabbing that navel to spine, engage that core. And if you're feeling like you really want a little bit more, hands can release and come to our shins. And I'm expecting to see some shaky feet like mine as my core is working over time. And on an inhale, we're going to bring our knees closer. And on an exhale, we're going to put our feet back down. Okay, from here, I'd like you now, you're going to grab your, wrap your legs into a lovely warm hug. We're going to keep the spine long. And we're going to take a couple of rocks backwards and forwards, just to massage the spine. Lovely. And then come to a laying position on your mat. The next thing we're going to do is going to be more of a workshop style. So we're coming towards our peak pose now. We've warmed through our body. We've got everything ready. So the next thing we need to do is go to our peak pose. What I would like you to do is just stop and watch for a second. I'll take you through the first phase. You'll have a go. Then I'll take you through the next bit and then you'll do that too, okay? So if you can stop and just look, that would be fantastic. I want you to come from a laying position. Knees come up. You walk back your feet close to your sitting bones, as close as you can get them, okay? Hands are palms down. You're going to engage the core. Your core is your best friend here. We're going to engage the core. And on an inhale, push down with your hands. Bring your knees towards your face, okay? That's where we want to get to. All right, so you're pushing with your hands. And this is where we're going to get to. Right, that is your turn now. Do not at any point move your neck. Your gaze is going to be up, okay? That's where it's staying. So over to you now, have a go. Okay, really nice. From here, so we've all got to this position now. So we're going to reset ourselves back to where we started. Hands are pushing down. Going to take an inhale, bringing my knees towards my face. The next thing I'm going to do is push through the shoulders, push through the hands, lifting up my legs. Now I can bring my hands to my upper body. I want to wiggle my elbows in, and I'm going to lift myself up. I'm going to point my toes as if I'm trying to stretch to the ceiling. Now, if you don't want to get this far, that's okay, that's totally fine. What I would recommend is a wonderful modification here, and you get all the benefits of the being in an inversion. So we're having our heart lower than our feet. Pop a block under your bottom. Hands are still down by the side of you, and then legs come up. Okay, so this is a really, really nice alternative for you. Okay. Now your turn. So I'll talk you through it. Laying on your back, you're going to bring your feet in towards your sit bones. Hands are palms down, close to the body, as close as you can get them. We're going to push down with the palms, engage that core, bringing knees towards chest, and on an inhale, push down. Good. From here, we're going to push up with our legs as we push down with our hands. Stretching towards the ceiling with our feet. Stretch. Keep the core engaged. Keeping your gaze towards your tummy. And then slowly to come out, bring knees back towards your face. And then slowly roll out of it using your hands for support. Fantastic. We're going to take a minute here just to bring our knees towards our chest and just offer your body a self-massage. So just a couple of circles one way, circles on your back the other way. Just enjoy that feeling. Really nice. I'm going to ask you to come and sit up now on your mat, and I'd like you just to bring your head to your knees. Really nice. Okay, so we're going to cross over our hands. Feet, hands come down, and we're going to jump our feet back so we are in plank pose. We won't stay here long. I know I've made you work very hard today. Our right knee is going to come behind our right wrist, and our left wrist is going to have our foot behind it. Dropping down the back knee, we're going to just start to breathe into this pose. Now this pose is fantastic for building flexibility. It's not always the most comfortable for everybody, but I would highly recommend using one of your blocks under your right bottom cheek just to give you that lift you need to keep your shin parallel to the mat. And as we take an inhale, we're just going to move our hands forward. Now you've got a couple of variations here. You can either cross over your hands and create a pillow. You can come up onto fists to bring the ground up to you. You can use another block if you have one to rest your forehead on. And I want you to take 5 long deep breaths, and you're going to really imagine as you breathe that you're sending your breath into that right hip joint. Okay, really imagine it opening up, becoming much, much more comfortable as you get the benefits of this wonderful, wonderful flexibility building pose. Now, if you want to take a variation here, if this is really not working for you, the variation we can take is just a reclined pigeon. So actually it's exactly the same, but instead of being front facing, what we're going to do instead is we're going to lay on our back, take your right knee out to the side, so your left knee has your right ankle over the top, and we're going to inhale, and as we do so, we're just going to bind, so under the left knee, just going to bind, and we're going to use our elbows leverage just to widen up that stretch, okay? So this is a really nice reclined pigeon, which is exactly the same as what the others are doing right now. Okay, wherever you are, wherever you got to, we're going to head back into plank pose. So very carefully lifting your weight up as you move your right leg back towards your left. We're going to go into our downward facing dog. So bottom or sit bones go to the sky. We're going to push that earth away. And just to get the blood back into our hip joint where we've been sat on it for a little while, our right leg is going to come into a three-legged dog. So lift up your right leg, keeping your hips level, pushing through the ground, heels push towards the back wall, and then place it back down in your downward facing dog. Left leg lifting it up. We're going to move our left knee behind our left wrist, and our foot becomes behind our right hand, and we sink down. So this is a really nice place. I always like to take a minute here to get my setup right, my alignment right. I want my hips to be level. I don't want to be slumping over to one side. And from here, I'm just going to pop a block under my bottom, and as I come down to my forearms, I'm breathing in, making sure that my leg is as parallel as I can get it. I understand not everyone's as flexible as somebody else, and that's fine. That's why we have so many modifications and so many different variations to take. Now, if you took reclined pigeon before, then feel free to take reclined pigeon on the other side. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here, breathing into that hip joint. Okay, we're going to come back up onto our hands, remove any blocks or props you've been using. We're going to turn up over our toe onto the toes of our right foot. We're going to shoot our left foot back into plank pose, and then we're going to inhale, our leg comes up into three-legged dog, pushing away from the earth, really feeling that hip joint, making sure they're both equal. And then from here, I would like you to come down onto your knees, sit back onto your shins, and we're in Thunderbolt pose. Okay, you've worked so hard today, you should be really proud of yourselves. Alright, so we're going to take a last couple of stretches before we move into our final Savasana. Alright, you've worked so hard. So we're going to take an inhale. As we inhale, our right hand is going to come just behind us, probably up on spider fingers. Okay, just behind our toes. We take an inhale and we lengthen. And as we exhale, our left hand is going to come to the outside of our hip. And we're just going to twist. And as we twist, we're twisting from the middle body here. We're twisting from here. And we're going to be looking over our shoulder, if that's comfortable for you. If not, that's fine. Keep your gaze wherever is comfortable for your neck. And we're going to take an inhale and lengthen again. And as we exhale, find space. Lovely. Slowly unwinding. Really nice. We're going to do the same with the other side. So our left hand, spider up those fingers, place them behind your toes. We're going to take an inhale. As we inhale, we lengthen. And as we exhale, our right hand comes to our right hip. Opening up, really opening that lovely chest, opening all that up. twisting round. Gaze comes over your shoulder if you can. If not, maintain a gaze that's comfortable for you. We're going to inhale one more time, lengthen. Then as we exhale, twisting just that little bit more. And then slowly coming back to unwind. Really nice. Make any final adjustments you need to your body here. And then I will ask you to come to a final Savasana, laying down on your mat. Usually we'd say keep your legs and your feet to the opposite corners of your mat. Hands are by your side and palms are facing up. Close off the eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. Well, that's a lot of thunder. Okay, so as we close our eyes, I want you just to come on a small journey with me as you scan through your body. Feel as your feet and your ankles start to relax. Feel them drop as you breathe into them. As you're working up the legs, feel the
If you made it to the end of that Savasana, you are some kind of yoga rock star. I am so sorry. The thunder and the lightning just became too exciting, so I had to go. Sorry once again, but well done, and I cannot wait to see you again soon.